The concept for the Athlete Career Program started in 2002 with the initial ILC Athletes Commission Forum, where representatives of athletes came up with the idea of what was the concern that they wanted to focus on. And athlete transition from sport to the labor market was identified as one of the top areas that they wanted to focus on. So they started putting in place a plan, and they engaged with Adecco so that we launched the Athlete Career Program in 2005 with around 7 countries. And the exciting part is, since we started the program in 2005, we now have operations in 26 countries around the world. And in addition to having operations in 26 countries, including Singapore, we also do outreach with organizations such as Olympic Solidarity, where we bring the training and the lessons of career transition not just to the larger National Olympic Committees, but also to athletes around the world.
Athletes have always been struggling with life after competition, but I think there is awareness today, and I was certainly surprised when I was in a meeting as early as January 2006 and I came across this program, and I asked her that we be put on the pilot project. And for the athletes, it's something which they have come to adapt all these years. But I think in this new world today, without bread and butter, it's very difficult. And with a new awareness and with money floating around, and I've certainly written a letter to Olympic Solidarity, and I say with all the programs there's something missing. We've always forgotten about the athletes after they finish from their career, and we just ignored them. Maybe something can be done. So I think this is a new wave, a new interest, and I'm glad that many NOCs and IOC, the IFs are being aware of it, and I hope we can move on for them, for the athletes.
I think they will understand themselves better when they come to such programs. They do things like the talent sort. They find out about their inherent values and personalities and the kind of jobs that suit them. And then they can start looking for jobs and even developing contacts. Yeah. So I think this program is important. And I think another thing is that they're going to impart very valuable skills like interviewing well, resume writing. Yeah, because a lot of times that is what the HR manager sees. I've been a HR manager myself previously. I mean, that's what you see, and they only have the 30 seconds to take a look at the resume and make an impact. So with good resumes, you have your foot in the door. And then a very important part will be the interviewing skills. When you go for an interview, make sure that you are prepared. So I think such programs, if they cater to such skills.
So we realize that we have to give them the life skills. The life skills are more important, and I always believe in the Chinese proverb. It says, give the man a fish and you feed him for the day. You teach him how to fish and you feed him for the lifetime. So this is what we're trying to stress to the kids. Learn all these skills. Learn networking and prepare for that day. You never know when's that day. You may just pick up a serious injury and you're out of sports, elite sports, and you need jobs. So we're trying to tell them, pick up all these skills and don't just come to ACP because I want a job. I want a part-time job. I want a full-time job. So we're saying that life skills are very important and to prepare for the eventuality. I think it's generally acknowledged that a sportsman goes through his cycle of falling flat on his face, picking himself up, being resolute, working hard and fighting to stand on a podium. These are some of the important traits that I'm sure the workforce would want to see in any of their employee. And it's acknowledged, that sportsmen make great, employees in the firms. Generally, they all acknowledge that, but when it comes to employment, it's not so easy to just tell them, can you take 5 of my athletes from this team, another 5 from that team. So this is something we haven't gone on to, but I think the next stage is for us to work with employers so that they understand this and they acknowledge this, and they'll be there for the athletes when they finish their sporting career.
I think it's much harder for us to look for a job because we have a shooting schedule, and we also need to get a full-time job. So I think the most important thing that I'm looking out for is a job that can allow me to continue shooting. character-wise, a shooter needs to have a lot of discipline, and you need to be really focused. And I think my experience as a national shooter, I would say that it's a kind of openness to culture, and because we tend to travel a lot, and I think those experiences that we get from traveling really helps us to settle into a job. Yeah, because in a job you'll meet all kinds of people, and in shooting, when you travel, you also meet all kinds of people. So I think that helps a lot. I think it's about at different stages of your life, what is your priority? So, for example, now I'm in my 4th year, I'm doing my honours. Then I would say that study is my first priority, shooting is second, and personal life will work around these 2 priorities. I don't believe that when you study and when you shoot, you can't have a personal life. It's about managing your time and trying to squeeze in that little 1-2 hours to meet up with your friends, have coffee, and dinner.
They have so much of abilities in them, there's so much special qualities in them, and they really need to bring that out during interviews or even during application process. Yeah, and I think another thing is that a lot of bosses out there, they need to see how special these athletes are. If they can see the value that athletes can bring, even if they may need to go out for training or competition. They are really different.